My guardian angel trades favors for protection. 2014, first encounter. It was a typical Wednesday in high school and I had just gone to sleep. In the middle of the night, I found myself in a large, dark room with a grandfather clock and large mirror. Although it was December, the room was scorching hot and my skin felt dry and itchy. "Come to the mirror, child," came a man's voice. Standing next to me in my reflection was an old but tall man with large, black eyes. "Who are you?" I asked, frozen in fear and confusion. "Where am I? What is happening?" "Be quiet, Cody, and listen to what I'm about to say," the old man replied in a quiet voice. "My name is Ferrucci. I'm here to guide you. Tomorrow you'll be in grave danger. However, I will keep you safe, and in return you will do as I say. When you're ready to see me again, look in the mirror before you go to bed and say my name. You will see me in your sleep that night, and I will tell you what to do." Before I could talk back to ask any questions, my alarm clock went off and I had to get up for school. That day at school was a tragedy that would change my life forever. Every American teenager's worst nightmare, a mass shooting. The shooter had caused so many deaths and injuries, all in the span of 30 minutes before the cops arrived to the scene. I didn't see any of this though, because right after my bus picked me up, the engine randomly broke down in the middle of traffic. By the time we got to the high school campus, the shooter was already being handcuffed and taken away by police. That night I lay in bed sobbing over my lost classmates. I was so preoccupied with the shooting that I didn't even think about the weird man in the dream, or what he said. I didn't believe in the supernatural at that age, so the idea never occurred to me that I should try to contact him like he said. I did not believe in Ferrucci until I saw him again. 2016, second encounter. I was 17 this time and my life was a mess. My mother had become so paranoid after the shooting that she would not let either of us leave the house. She found an online sales position for herself and a cyber school for me. The only sunshine I ever got was picking them up off the porch. I was miserable all of the time. I mean, how could I not be? My whole high school experience was ruined. I wanted to try and go through the grieving process in a healthy manner so I could move on with my life. But that was impossible when every day I had to be reminded of it. One day, I decided that I'd had enough. I was going to run away. I started making money by writing English and history essays for my old high school classmates. I was able to charge $30 per paper. By the end of the 11th grade, I had around $5,000 saved up from Cash App transactions, which I decided was enough to sneak away. I ordered a cab to a nearby city and found a job and apartment. My plan was to work for a while until I was financially stable enough to live on my own. Then I would contact my mother again and she would see that I was doing fine on my own. My plan backfired though when my mom tried to kill herself one night in December because she thought I was dead. I stood over her unconscious body in St. Peter's Hospital sobbing, begging her to recover and wake up. That night, while laying in bed, Ferrucci came back to me in an alcohol-induced nightmare. It was the same dark, hot room as before, with Ferrucci looking the same as the first time. "You!" I shouted in astonishment. "I've seen you before. You're the man from my dream." "They're not dreams, Cody. When are you going to realise that?" "Please, you helped the first time. Please don't let me lose my mother." "You never upheld your end of the bargain, remember? I don't work for free. Why should I help you this time when I was never thanked properly the first time?" "Please, I promise you, I'll do anything. Just let my mom recover. I don't want her to die." "Anything?" Ferrucci's eyes lit up at this, and suddenly the dream ended. I woke up in my bedroom to a text message from my mother saying, "Hey Cody, I'm so sorry about this baby. The doctor said that I'm going to be alright though." Later that night, I tried to contact Ferrucci to find out what he wanted me to do for him. I tried saying his name in the mirror before bed, but it didn't work. I just assumed he would come to me when he needed me. 2019, third encounter. My life has settled down for the most part since the second encounter. My mum got the therapy she needed, and I was able to graduate high school and start my electrician license. I had friends again, a normal job, and a decent amount of money. Things seemed perfect from the outside. However, every night I was stricken with anxiety, worried about what I had agreed to. I tried contacting Ferrucci every night through the mirror, but he never responded. Finally, in August of 2019, I saw him again. I had been out drinking with some friends when I passed out in my bed, unconscious. "Ferrucci, where have you been?" I shouted upon seeing him in the mirror in the dark room. "I've been trying to reach you for nearly 3 years. What do you want me to do for your favour?" Ferrucci smiled for the first time since I'd met him. His eyes seemed to grow bigger as he smiled, so big they took up most of his face. "Don't worry, boy, you're already getting started. I'll come to you again for more instruction." Before I could ask any questions, I woke up sitting at my desk with my laptop opened. I had gone to bed last night at 11, but it was now 3 in the afternoon. How long had I been awake for? I looked at my computer search history and saw that around 1 PM I had planned a 5-day trip to China from October 3rd to the 8th. The hotel and airplane tickets were already paid for by various debit card accounts that were not mine. In front of my computer was a printed out copy of a Chinese bus schedule around the hotel I had booked. With certain routes circled, some of the bus routes went into major cities, but some had me going into forests. Okay, I guess Ferrucci wanted me to run him some favours on the other side of the world. Kind of weird, but I could do it. My father was Chinese, and before he died, he taught me fluent Mandarin. 2019. 4th encounter. The night I arrived in China, Ferrucci contacts me again in my sleep. However, he looked different this time. His eyes had gotten bigger, and I didn't need to look in the mirror to see him. He was right there in front of me, patiently waiting. "Finally, I've been waiting for you," I shouted. "Ferrucci, I am so confused. What do you want me to do there? I have the bus routes written down, but that's about it. And whose card information did you use?" "Don't worry, Cody," he said. "The cards belong to rich men who won't notice a couple $1,000 missing. As for the trip, you let me handle that. I've done everything myself." "What do you mean you've done everything? We just got here." But as soon as I said it, everything went black. "Sir, I brought you some tea." I woke up to the sound of the airplane stewardess's voice. "I heard you coughing and sneezing, so I figured you could use some," she said. I looked around at my surroundings and checked my watch. It was October 8th already, and I was on my flight back to America. Ferrucci had controlled my body for a whole week, and I had no idea what he did with it. Frankly, I didn't want to know. 2021. Final encounter. It wasn't until the pandemic hit that it really began to dawn on me what had happened. I kept studying the maps that Ferrucci printed and Google searching the places on them. The first place I went was Wuhan, where the pandemic started. The other places were all very crowded cities across China. Ferrucci found out that COVID existed before any of the scientists, and he had me spread it as quickly as possible. I saw Ferrucci in my bedroom mirror one night. I guess he had grown so powerful that it didn't need to visit me in my dreams anymore. "How could you do this? You killed all of these people," I shouted at the glass. "You saved me and my mother. I thought you were my guardian angel." Ferrucci's smile looked bigger and more natural in the real world. I could swear he had more teeth than he was supposed to. "I didn't save you, stupid boy. I don't have the power to do that. My only powers are to see what happens anywhere in the world and to enter people's bodies with their permission." In my anger and frustration, I punched the glass, which seemed to amuse Ferrucci as he watched the blood trickle down my knuckles. "How come my mother and I are both alive then? How do you explain that?" "You're alive because your idiot bus driver never checked the engine or changed the oil. The night before the shooting, I saw there was no way you could make it all the way to school tomorrow." At first, I was pretty sad. Poor kid wouldn't have enough people there to shoot at. But then I realised this was actually a chance to trick someone. You were the first stop on that bus, so I figured you would be best. "And your mother is alive because she didn't take enough pills to do any permanent damage." "I didn't save her. I just overheard a nurse saying that she was going to be okay." "I never performed any miracles. I just let you think that I did." What he was saying made sense, but I still refused to believe it. They were supposed to be my guardian angel who saved me and my mother's lives. And now it was all a lie. So what are you then? I shouted. Can I show you? Ferrucci asked. Yes. Suddenly my hand rose on its own, making a fist. I tried to stop it, but I couldn't. The knuckles pressed against an unbroken part of the mirror, and I started writing with my own blood. Ferrucci, Lucifer.